We all know the internet jokes. Chuck Norris doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the absolute crap out of it. Or, Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. For decades, he's been the ultimate pop culture symbol of an invincible, unbreakable human being. But behind the action movies, the martial arts trophies, and the viral memes lies a much darker, heartbreaking reality. As he hits his 85th year, Chuck Norris is quietly fighting his most devastating battle yet. One that all the strength and millions of dollars in the world can't easily fix. To understand how this legendary hero ended up here, we have to look back at the brutal childhood that forged him. Chuck Norris wasn't born into success. He was born into a literal nightmare in 1940 in the tiny town of Ryan, Oklahoma. His father, Ray, came back from fighting in World War II a completely broken man, suffering from severe trauma and a violent addiction to alcohol. Growing up, Chuck and his family lived in a state of non-stop, suffocating terror. They never knew when his father would fly into a blind, drunken rage. The family was constantly flat broke. Chuck still vividly remembers his mother hiding tiny bits of change around the house just to buy basic groceries, only for his father to hunt down the money and steal it to buy more liquor. But when Chuck turned 14, a single violent moment changed his life forever. His father was in the middle of a brutal, bloody physical assault on his mother. Realizing no one was coming to save them, Chuck grabbed a heavy metal hammer and stood directly between his parents to defend his mom. That terrifying moment planted a permanent seed in his mind. Sometimes you have to physically stand up and fight to protect the people you love. 2 years later, in 1956, his mother finally found the courage to pack up the kids and escape to California, leaving the Oklahoma nightmare behind. But the mental scars of those early years would follow Chuck forever. Desperate to find some direction in life, Chuck joined the United States Air Force at 18. That single decision completely flipped his script. While stationed over in South Korea, he discovered martial arts, and it was absolute love at first sight. Chuck later admitted that martial arts gave him a sense of identity and self-worth he had never felt before. The intense discipline, focus, and physical pain allowed him to channel his childhood trauma into raw strength. When he returned to the States, he was on a mission. He worked as a military policeman and opened a tiny, struggling karate studio. In the beginning, things were so tight he could barely afford the rent, and he actually suffered some embarrassing losses in his early competitive matches. But Chuck possessed an unbreakable spirit born from hardship. In 1967, his stubborn determination paid off when he won his first major championship. From there, he became an absolute machine, holding the professional middleweight champion title for 6 straight years without losing a single match. He proved to himself that the greatest struggles can lead to the biggest victories. And right at the absolute peak of his karate career, Hollywood came knocking. Chuck's movie career started with what everyone in the industry called total career suicide. He agreed to play the villain and get beaten up by Bruce Lee in the 1972 classic Way of the Dragon. Instead of killing his career, that iconic Coliseum fight turned him into an overnight global superstar. By the late 70s and 80s, smash hits like Good Guys Wear Black, Missing in Action, and The Delta Force cemented Chuck Norris as America's ultimate cinematic symbol of patriotic justice. Audiences saw an untouchable badass hero on screen. But what the fans couldn't see was the profound, lingering grief that Chuck brought to every single military role he played. Back in 1970, Chuck's younger brother, Wieland, was tragically killed in action during the Vietnam War at just 21 years old. Wieland died a true hero, screaming out a warning to his fellow soldiers that saved their lives while costing him his own. That loss completely shattered Chuck in ways no martial arts opponent ever could. He later confessed that losing his little brother created an emotional wound that never truly closed. Every time he played a soldier on a movie set, it wasn't just an acting gig. It was a silent, painful tribute to his brother's real-life sacrifice. The hits just kept coming. In 1988, his 30-year marriage to his high school sweetheart, Diane, completely fell apart in a painful divorce, leaving him questioning everything he knew about trust and family. Shortly after the divorce, Chuck received a bombshell letter out of nowhere. A young woman named Dina reached out to reveal that she was actually his biological daughter, born from a very brief relationship during his military days 26 years prior. For over 2 decades, she had grown up completely without her dad. While Chuck welcomed her into his life with open arms, he was consumed by intense guilt and regret over missing out on her entire childhood. Then came another devastating blow through friendship. Chuck had become incredibly close with Lee Atwater, a brilliant and highly dynamic political strategist. In 1990, at just 39 years old, Lee collapsed and was diagnosed with an aggressive, inoperable brain tumor. Chuck had to sit by helplessly, watching cancer completely consume his vibrant friend over the course of a single year. Lee's tragic passing forced the on-screen, invincible hero to finally confront his own mortality, realizing that absolutely no one is safe from the harsh realities of life. Fast forward to today. Chuck Norris is 85 years old, quietly living out his days on his massive ranch out in Texas. He has all the wealth and comfort anyone could ever ask for, but as he knows all too well, money can't buy health. His entire daily existence is still completely focused on Gina and keeping her as comfortable and healthy as possible. Their children have grown up watching their mother's intense physical suffering, but they also got a front-row seat to their father's fierce, unbending love. They learned the real, raw meaning of commitment, that true love isn't just about the good times, but about standing firm when everything falls apart. Now, old age is Chuck's final, inevitable challenge, one that no amount of martial arts training or physical strength can stop. His once legendary, powerful body is finally showing the heavy marks of time, serving as a quiet reminder that even pop culture legends eventually have to slow down. Chuck spends a lot of time reflecting on his past, and while those old memories can sometimes feel like ghosts, he has finally found a deep, mature kind of peace. It doesn't come from trying to be an untouchable action hero anymore. It comes from acceptance, vulnerability, and finding a purpose much bigger than himself. Through a lifetime of intense battles, Chuck Norris learned the ultimate truth. Real strength isn't about never breaking. It's about having the absolute courage to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward after you do. Today, he uses that wisdom to fund massive organizations that help troubled, at-risk youth find the same discipline and direction that saved him from his own chaotic childhood all those years ago. Outro. Even at 85, Chuck Norris faces every single day with the exact same grit and determination that carried him through a violent childhood, military service, brutal world championship fights, and devastating personal losses. His ultimate victory isn't found in movie box office numbers or shiny trophies. It lives in his absolute, unshakable devotion to the people he loves. Which part of Chuck's incredible life journey inspired you the most? Was it his business mindset, his dedication to his wife, or his resilience? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you found his real-life story as powerful as I did, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the lives of our favorite icons. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.